Aisling O'Reilly joins us next on OTB AM. Turns out there was one person tipping the outsiders Meath in the build-up to Sunday's All-Ireland final.
It's hard because you have to go with your head and not your heart, you know, and I suppose what my head is telling me is that Royals are going to do it.
Okay, on that note, yeah, it turned out, Aisling, you were correct.
Oh, hello, hi. Sorry, I didn't know you were there. Yes, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you didn't believe me. You did not believe me. I know you didn't.
Well, it didn't make any sense. This is a story that doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense that they were going to be able to come back from where they were in the game against Cork, and it didn't make sense that they performed so brilliantly in the final. You kind of feel like it didn't make sense that the start might have made some sense, but then the fact that they were able to see it out, none of this makes any sense. It's bonkers, and it's glorious bonkers.
Yeah, no, it is. Look, as much as I believed, and obviously I've been watching the team for a lot of years now, so I know what sort of system that they've been working on, and I still was thinking to myself, this is a massive challenge. Can they do it? You know, I know they have the fitness. I know that they have the backroom staff that know the type of tactics. They know what they need to go out and do against Dublin. Can they do it? Is it too soon? Is it a year too soon? All of them things were going around in my head, and everyone was doubting them. So I thought to myself, oh God, am I after making a huge mistake here? Maybe I just should have said that, you know, look, they're a year or two, you know, too soon for them. But it was just, I can't describe what it was like up in that media box, and I have to be neutral as well. I'm doing the updates and everything, and it's hard. It was really hard, and I was so emotional watching it. Portia Staunton was with me, and you know, she was grabbing my arm at one stage, and you know, it was great for the ladies' game to see this. You know, she was like, this is phenomenal to see them playing like this, and yeah, it was just no words. It was just brilliant.
Corey gave the game away full time. Aisling O'Reilly's in tears beside me here.
Yeah, and I cried the drop of a hat, but like I couldn't. I was literally could not stop crying. Just looking at those girls, like some of them have been on serious journeys. Like Vicky Wall, she talked about her journey a few times. You know, I remember her coming back into the panel when it was just after her leaving cert, and you know, she struggled to get back on the team, and she was coming off the bench. She had a tough time, and to see her go out there, she is in phenomenal shape. She's obviously doing serious stuff like away from the pitch as well. And she went out there yesterday with one thing on her mind, and they were winning this senior. She got the ball from the throw up 1 second into the game and went straight for goal. And that was when I said to myself, they can do this. They definitely can do this. They're up for it. They're like raring to go.
We've got footage there of I think, is it Vicky meeting? Oh no, it's Stacey. On his Vicky, meeting Sean Boylan at the full time. Really emotional scenes from like, and I guess, you know, we've spoken a good bit about how it's ridiculous that they've been able to come back from 40 points down to beat Cork 4 years later, 5 years later, whatever it was, and that's great. You reach an All-Ireland final, but then you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, which is roll over for the great Dubs team, which is one of the greatest teams that we've seen since the Cork team, obviously, who are probably still and will be forever the greatest Gaelic football team. But they didn't do it. The point you make from the throw-in, it was very clear. It was like, hang on a second, this is what Dublin do to teams. They'll score a goal off throw-ins fairly regularly. It's there was an aggressiveness about Meath's ambition, which was not an underdog thing. It was we're Meath. It was that kind of stereotypical. Actually, we should be here. Why wouldn't we be here? Why wouldn't we believe in ourselves?
Yeah, it really was the hunger, the fight, determination, everything. And as I was saying, like if I was looking at it on paper, okay, so what do Meath not have that Dublin have? Why are Dublin so far ahead of them? Okay, experience, maybe the older heads in the dressing room, all of those things. But everything else, I couldn't say that Meath didn't have. So that's why I went with Meath. You know, I did try to look at it as like, you know, making a pundit decision and trying to be neutral. And I was saying to myself, they can match them everywhere. The bench that came on, like, that was massive. Like, I think on the line as well, that's where it was ultimately won. The decisions that were made, and they were made just at the right time. We were watching, Meath had only scored, I think it was 3 points in that second half in total. And they looked like they were tiring. You know, it was a very fast-paced game, and that was probably the biggest worry. Can they keep this up for the full game? They looked like they were tiring. There's one or two girls that I was looking at going, oh no, he needs to make the decisions quick. And he did. And Megan Tyne came on and Meath globally. And these are two girls that have always started on the Meath panel as long as I can remember. And them coming on is just serious. They're really young, like early 20s as well. They can run all day. Megan used to play that role of up and down the wing, back into the back line, filter back, and then break the pace. And she could run all day. She plays for me Camogie as well. So seeing her come in, and that's what she did. She just cleared the ball out and gone. And then she ran back, sprinted back, and then she got the ball and gone again. And Meath was the same on the other wing. So see on that sideline, that's where it was ultimately in the end as well. Like that decision to bring them on when they did was a massive decision.
Why did Dublin lack answers at times yesterday, Aisling? Did you feel that they almost got caught? They didn't get caught unawares. Like, I mean, it seemed that in a lot of the preview there was a sense that Meath were going to do what they did in terms of getting a lot of bodies back and breaking at pace. So why did Dublin look like they got taken by surprise at times during the game?
Yeah, they really did, and I was shocked by that as well. Because Mick Bowen's comments as well during the week that he had said, you know, I don't know a hell of a lot about them, but I will do my homework, and he did do his homework. But yeah, I don't know. They definitely didn't, like, me definitely had the system and the tactics right, and Dublin looked a bit rattled. You know, they really did. They didn't know what was going on, and I think they just couldn't get in on goal. Meath blocked up the D so much that they could not get through, and they just kept pushing them out. And Hannah Tyrrell was phenomenal for them yesterday. She really was. But yeah, they just didn't, I don't think, really got their tactics right on the day. Mick Bowen, he spoke after, he was very emotional speaking, and he said, look, I don't know, did I get it wrong? I wasn't expecting this. He said, I thought we were in phenomenal condition and shape, but he said, my God, you know, Meath are in some shape. And again, he said he's never seen this type of game in the ladies' game before, so it was unbelievable to watch. But I think everything just went right for Meath as well with their tactics, and everyone bought into it. Everyone knew what they were doing. That's something that the girls will always tell you, like, everybody has a job. We all know what we're doing, and they stick to it, you know. So, yeah, they just got it right, I think.
This might be a hard one for you to answer neutrally, but how did yesterday compare atmosphere-wise to the other finals you'd been at? Because obviously there was a big thing made of getting over 50,000 people in attendance before the pandemic, for the last final before the pandemic. But it did feel yesterday there was something unique about the way the Meath supporters were gathered at the Hill, especially at the full-time whistle.
Yeah, it was. I'm actually like shaking thinking about it. Like, I haven't experienced that as a Meath fan, definitely not. As women's football, like it was something else. Like, just everybody there was just like, this is a great advertisement for ladies football. Like, it was brilliant, like, so good.
What does it mean for the future in terms of the rivalry?
Serious, like, this is the start of the Leinster rivalry. It really is. We've seen Westmeath yesterday as well. They're going to come up into it. So, you know, there's going to be a few good games in the Leinster Championship, which we've lacked for years now. So that'll be great to see. And it's only the start between this Meath and Dublin rivalry for sure. Like, there wasn't a hell of a lot in it yesterday. We talked about Emma Duggan's goal. Like, that was probably the game-changing moment. If she meant it or not, it went in, and that's probably where it was won. So, you know, it could have went either way at times. Second half, Dublin outscored Meath. So you look at it that way. Ultimately, the best team won on the day, but I think there's going to be serious games to come. And just as Owen was saying, just on the atmosphere, like, it was honestly incredible. Like, I was looking around me and everybody was just like screaming, cheering, no matter what. Like, it just for the game itself, we needed that. The last two finals were quite, they were poor standard. Like 2 years ago, Galway in Dublin, that was really poor standard, really low scoring. And sometimes you just felt with the women's game, it got to the stage and then it doesn't perform, and then everyone, you know, goes away thinking that's what women's football is, and that's not what it is, you know. So thank God yesterday was a phenomenal game, serious performance by both teams, and they put on a spectacle, and everybody's talking about it, and that's what we want.
Yeah, 100%. And who are you thinking about, Aisling, when the final whistle was blown? What was your immediate kind of, where did this come from?
Just thinking about all the girls, I suppose, that went before as well. Like, the girls all talked about it. A few of them were up on the stands, and they never got to see these moments. They never got to experience them. And yeah, I suppose they drove it on for so long. So for me to to do that for them as well was something else. I was just thinking about, I suppose, some of the girls. Aileen Leahy, she's had a huge year. She lost her mum not too long ago, and yeah, she's someone who's really put a serious amount of effort in to get on the team. So I was so delighted for her, and she had a massive game as well. And yeah, just delighted for all of them. My teammate as well, Katie New, she had a phenomenal game. So it's just brilliant. It's brilliant for the game, and it's definitely brilliant for me. We're back.
And how were the celebrations?
Brilliant. I was just trying to finish up, and I got down to Drumcondra then, just onto the streets, and everyone was just out around the bars, and yeah, more than all outside rather than in the bars. And yeah, we were just singing away. Beautiful Meath was sang a few hundred times. And the crack was good. And then they went back to Knightsbrook and Trim then. So yeah, I was getting sent all the videos, and WhatsApps were flying. Just a brilliant night there. So I'd say there'll be days of celebrations, if not weeks to come.
It, like, genuinely, like, it does kind of feel like a relic has come back. That now you just say there, Meath is back, the singing is back around this county. It's genuinely not something that we've really witnessed in our lifetimes anyway, Aisling. Like, I mean, this is a proper sort of nostalgia trip for a lot of people who perhaps are old enough to remember.
Did they not win All Ireland in 1999?
I mean, I don't remember 1999, so
I remember. No, but yeah, that's true, because I don't know what age I was, but I remember them coming back to the county club that year. I remember Sean Boylan, Graham Garrity, Trevor Giles, all of them, and I remember being in awe, running up to get autographs, and that was what was happening for the Meath girls. You know, it was just like a flip, and Sean Boylan was there at that right moment for Vicky Wall, and I was like, this is just it, a 360 year. It's unbelievable to see, and yeah, it's just amazing. Like, the scenes, I suppose we never have got to experience too many of them, because the Colin O'Rourke, all those years too, you know, they were the 80s and that, so we never got to experience them. But I think for years to come, we will get to see the Meath ladies doing it. And as Vicky, I think, said before the game, she's like, when we pulled up to get on the bus yesterday, you know, everybody was in the women's jersey. Like, everyone was wearing the women's jersey. This has never happened before. So it's just so nice to see. And I think a lot of kids, anyone, boys, girls, whatever, will get serious inspiration from this.
They need to get that women's jersey reprinted a lot, because it rings a lot of bells for a lot of people, and it's a good opportunity for them to raise a bit of cash as well. Aisling, great stuff. Congratulations on calling this about 5 months ago. It is the outstanding call in the history of OTB. I've got to say that.
Ooh,
nobody else.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
yes,
100%.
Thank you, dear.
Well, listen, well done to everybody. The other thing is, one last bit is listening to Cora. She was like, this is the first game I remember feeling like a fan at. And that's the power of that. So, like, the greatest women's Gaelic footballer of all time is reduced to, like, simply enjoying it as a fan, desperate for Meath to win as well. I think you'd obviously infected her at some point along the way with the Meath virus.
Honestly, you should have seen her. Like, she was grabbing my arm at one point, and you know, we were both looking, going, they can't lose this, they can't lose this. And she was like, you know, having to do the updates too. I was like, here, you can't be biased here. And everyone was around us with Meath flags, sort of waving them over us. And she's like, this is incredible. And she was screaming for what, like, she was telling them what to do. You know, she was like, hold the ball, go this way, screaming. Like, you know, it was just brilliant for them. It's a great story. Obviously, Dublin, as we said, are phenomenal team, and they've got to the game to this point, and I think it's important we remember that too.
Brian Dillon has been in touch on YouTube to say, lads, as a Kildare man, I never thought I'd say this, but I bloody loved that match yesterday and was absolutely delighted for me. The build-up of noise as the seconds ticked down was incredible. There's like a very short window, Aisling, where we are still, as Kildare people, happy for you. I'd say it's about 5 hours away from running out. And after that, it's we can go back to hating each other again along the border. But in the meantime, congratulations on that. And then final one, Mick Kelly says, a word for both Wicklow and Westmeath, who won junior and intermediate finals yesterday, having both been beaten in the equivalent finals last year. I wonder, is this a trend for such teams? That's the other thing, is that you really need other counties to look at what Meath have done, take it as inspiration, go away, get organised, and properly ride the boom of numbers that are coming through, because there is clearly a boom in numbers coming through in the teenage years particularly. There's a big opportunity for the LGFA to become, you know, if not the dominant, certainly the equivalent of soccer in Ireland.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I see it definitely in my club. all the clubs around Meath, I think we've over 7,000 members. It's something mad. And, you know, the girls are really enjoying their football. Everybody is staying on and playing. When I suppose when you hit 5th, 6th year, you might have went off and did other things and didn't bother. But that's not the case anymore. Like, it really isn't. And that's only the last couple of years that we're seeing that. So, yeah, all of these girls are probably just inspiring serious amount of women to keep involved and to keep playing. See what they can do.
Mark Dunning says, ask Aisling who's winning the lads final.
No, you need to give me a minute. I think I'll go with my head and my heart again. Oh God, no, I have to say Mayo is my heart. I've got a family in Belmullet. That's my heart, but I think I'm very scared. I'm very scared with this Tyrone team. That's what I'll say. I want it to be Mayo's year.
You're saying Tyrone?
I'm worried.
I think Mayo got carried away. I think that there's a good chance that a couple of their best players, well, we know Cillian O'Connor's not going to be playing. There's a good chance Oisin Mullen's not fully fit. I think, Owen, you're too certain about this too early.
I don't know. Well, I'm
going to talk you out of Mayo by the end of the week.
You really need to change your mind if Aisling, if you're going for Tyrone at this point. Because like we were saying earlier on, that Joe Brawley and Colin O'Rourke put the kiss of death on them yesterday. You've done the opposite by tipping them. So it's evenly poised once again in the fate categories.
I'm like this. I really am like this with this one. I don't know. Everything tells me has to be Mayo's year. They can't have bet Dublin all for nothing, because it will be all for nothing. It will be. No one's going to remember if they don't go all the way. So, yeah, but I'm really, really afraid of this Tyrone team. I said it before, I don't think we've seen the best of them. But I genuinely believe I don't think we have. They're only getting going. So it's a really worrying one for Mayo, I think.
All right. Aisling, good stuff. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thanks, lads.
Aisling O'Reilly there, celebrating Meath's victory. OTB AM is brought to you by Gillette. Good morning. Start with Gillette, put your best face forward with their new and improved razors.